Tonight from the Minnesota Fairgrounds in St. Paul, it's State Fair Live. And now here are your hosts for the evening, Pat Miles and Bill Carlson.
Good evening, everyone. What a rowdy group, huh?
What a night.
We want to welcome everybody to the 1986 Minnesota State Fair, especially our crowd that we have here tonight and our band.
The Barbary Coast
Barbary
Banjo
Coast
Brass.
Banjo Brass.
Making their presence felt and lending a little excitement to the night, and we're going to have much more excitement as the evening goes on. Folks, you're going to participate with us out here, and we're going to meet a couple of juggling brothers, the juggling act they have for you. You're not going to believe. We're going to meet the fellow who right now is about 2/3 of the way up that big wire that extends from the 4-H building to the space tower. He's climbing it tonight. We talked to him the other day. His name is Jay Cochran. We're going to meet him. We're going to slip all over the fairgrounds, too. We have a lot of things coming up.
Yes, and we also have two of our ace reporters out on the fairgrounds. Tony Vigneri, our health and science reporter, the guy who did the story tonight on what you shouldn't be eating, cholesterol and sodium. Well, he's out covering all of the food stands and eating the mini donuts. And also Tom Hanneman is covering the Midway for us. And we're going to go right now to Tom and find out what's going on. Tom?
This is where the real rowdy group is, Pat, at the Midway, the hub of the State Fair, and really the reason that most people come out to the State Fair each year, not only for the rides, but the games. And my assignment tonight is to browse around the Midway and try a few of the games, some of the old ones and a few of the new ones, and we'll be doing that in a few minutes. So we'll check in with you in a few moments.
Tom, I think he's just enjoying himself so much. The anticipation is just hanging in the air. Now, Tony Vigneri, too, was looking forward today. I think he set himself up with some Alka-Seltzer before he went out.
Well, you know, Tony, I think, could stand to gain a few pounds. I don't know what you think. So we sent him out to cover all of the food items, some of the unusual food items at the State Fair. Let's go to Tony and see what he's come up with.
Pat and Bill, I couldn't ask for a better job, and I'm going to eat my way through the fair tonight, and if I put on a few pounds, that's okay with me. One of the first stops is mini donuts. It's one of my personal favorites. I'm going to down as many of the mini donuts as I can tonight. Now, it's a simple reason why people eat mini donuts, but just to be on the safe side, let's ask some people. What's the basic reason why you love these things?
They're big and fluffy. They're absolutely delicious. I come here every year for them.
That's great. How about you?
I agree. We had some blueberry ones in the Midway, and they weren't very good.
These are the best.
Flat. The best.
These are the best.
These are nice and fluffy. They're the best.
And they go good with beer.
Okay. All right, that's it. That's simple enough. Now, from another thing that I'm going to be doing through the fair is checking the calorie count. I hate to do it, but I'm going to have to do it. One little mini donut is worth 60 calories, bag of 12, 700. But why not? You only do this once a year, and you got to do it, right?
What the heck? Listen, I think they ought to have a giant donut stand.
Yeah, for the life of
then you'd only have to eat one.
for the life of a health and science reporter to go around feeling guilty all the time, even at the State Fair. You know, we're going to start some excitement right here on this stage now that they have started it out on the Midway and down the line here a little ways. We're going to present an act to you that is performing regularly at the Children's Theater area. They are a juggling act, a couple of brothers who do something that, well, I think it's going to amaze you. No sense putting it off any longer. Here are Tony and David Phillips. Let's welcome them, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My name's Tony.
And I am David.
And we are
Tony and David Phillips. Tony and I perform a magic comedy and juggling show here on the fairgrounds 3 times a day. We perform in the Children's Theater, and if you make it out to the State Fair, we certainly expect you to come and see our show. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, we thought we would bring a little bit of our show from the Children's Theater stage right here to the WCCO television stage. In fact, right now, ladies and gentlemen, you are all about to see some fantastic fire juggling. In fact, the fire juggling which Tony is preparing to do right now took him 15 years to perfect. Ironically, it will take only 15 seconds to perform. Ladies and gentlemen, you are all about to see two of the most dangerous...
That's right, ma'am. We're about to set some guy on fire. Thanks, Mom.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
Mom, that's sick. Put the barbecue sauce away.
Oh, that's cruel. Like I said, folks, you are all about to see two of the most dangerous and most difficult juggling tricks which you will ever see. Now, the first of those two tricks is going to be 6 behind-the-back throws. Now, as if this were not enough, immediately following that, Tony will throw the torch into the air. It will be moving very fast, and it will be turning 3 times around. Now, at the very same time, Tony will be on the stage doing a complete turn himself. Now, once again, ladies and gentlemen, both of these tricks are very dangerous and very difficult to do. It will take Tony just a second or so more to warm up, and while he's doing that, let's give him another encouraging round of applause, shall we? Tony Phillips. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, 6 behind the back throws and a triple with a twist. Watch carefully. This is good.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
It was too quick for him. One more time.
No. This isn't right. What is this, TV? We're doing TV.
We are doing TV.
We can't just do 6 behind the back and a triple with a twist. That's not good enough.
No. You had birthday candles like that once, right?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? You're not going to do 6. What are you going to do?
Well, I thought since this was a special TV appearance, we'd do 12 behind the back throws. Would
12?
you folks like to see that?
Would you
I've
like to
never
see
done
12
this before.
instead of 6? All right.
I've never done this before. 12 behind the back throws and a triple with a twist.
That's right. He is telling the truth when he says that he has never done this before. This is totally unprecedented in our show. 12 behind the back throws and a triple with a twist. Now, you realize that 12 is twice as much as 6. And when he does this, he, of course, should deserve twice as much applause. Am I right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, 12 behind the back throws and a triple with a twist. Once again, I give you Tony Phillips. Good luck, Tony.
See that? That's the Catholics.
Ladies and gentlemen, juggler Mr. Tony Phillips.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you stop and see our show at the Children's Theater here at the 1986 Minnesota State Fair. And we hope you've enjoyed watching our show as much as we've enjoyed watching you watch our show.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tony and David Phillips. That is remarkable. Do you carry a huge packet of some kind of burn controller?
Well, we carry a health unit along with us, a big truck and a lot of gauze.
I would imagine so. How long you gentlemen been working together?
We have been working together for 5 years. Individually, we've been working at Magic and Juggling for about 18 years apiece.
And you're performing out here at the State Fair daily?
Right here at the State Fair, 3 times a day at the Children's Theater, a comedy, magic, and juggling show.
Okay, and where can we find you if we're looking?
You'll find it at the Children's Theater, which is in between the Education Building and the Creative Activities Building, and it is free, provided by the Minnesota State Fair.
Okay, and you just look for those fiery things going up on the horizon there, and you'll find the Phillips brothers underneath. And, Pat, while the Phillips brothers are leaving our stage, I know that you're going to be talking to another guy who kind of takes his life in his hands.
That's right. Well, as Bill mentioned earlier, there is a new act at the State Fair this year, and already it is a huge success and very popular. There's a wire walker. His name is Jay Cochran, and he goes all the way from the 4-H building up to the Big Needle. I think it takes him about a half hour, so he probably has just completed his walk tonight. We had an opportunity to talk to Jay a little bit earlier about his wire walk act. Here's what he had to say.
I'm always prepared for it. You know, I'm ready to do the show. I don't meditate or anything like this. I've done it so many times. It's not like it's second nature to me because every time is different. And when you take that first step, there's no turning back.
Meet Jay Cochran, a kind of real-life Spider-Man who spans his web of wires between skyscrapers, across baseball fields, and this year above the Minnesota State Fair. The idea of being an aerialist came to Jay as a child, and he's been performing in the air about 30 years.
When I was about 7 years old, my mother took me to a circus, and I saw a man do a backward somersault on a high wire about 25, 30 feet above the floor in the circus arena. And I said to my mother, I said, Mother, when I grow up one day, I'm going to do that.
The 1,400-foot walk between the 4-H building and the Space Needle takes about 45 minutes. With Jay suspended 100 feet in the air, it's no wonder thousands of fairgoers stop to watch every step he takes.
The cable and everything is first and foremost, and the audience while I'm performing is secondary. It has to be that way, because if it wasn't, if I put it the other way around, I wouldn't be performing for very long.
The wire is only 5/8 of an inch wide, about the size of the index finger. He uses a balancing pole and a harness, and although a safety net is required by state law, he prefers to work without one.
To me, I pay no attention to the net because I have no intentions of ever having to use a net. Because I'm a strong believer, if you get used to using a net or a harness, then you rely on it. And one day when it's not there, that's when something happens.
Being a professional aerialist hasn't been all blue skies for Jay.
I fell from the wire. I actually didn't fall. The whole thing collapsed with me on it. I allowed somebody else to put up the equipment. I had both legs, both feet, my back, my pelvis, both arms, 4 ribs, and my collarbone. So I was out of commission for quite some time. But like a true equestrian, you get back up on the horse again.
Still, he feels he has a number of wire walking years ahead of him.
I figure I have about another 15 years before I retire. I'm going to retire on my 60th birthday. And no matter where I am, that's going to be my last walk.
Isn't that unbelievable? Well, if you'd like to see Jay Cochran, he performs every evening here at the Minnesota State Fair, beginning at the 4-H building and going all the way up to the Space Needle. It begins at 6:30, and I think it takes him, what, about a half an hour, Bill?
Takes him almost 45 minutes. It's 1,400 feet. That's almost a quarter of a mile. And, of course, weather permitting. He has, I think tonight was the 4th night he's walked since the fair began because he's had bad weather a couple of nights. Right now, we're going to take a brief break, and we'll be right back at the Minnesota State Fair live.
Everyone to the Minnesota State Fair and our live broadcast. One of the things that's really important about this Minnesota State Fair, and sometimes we forget because we get caught up in the mini donuts and the pronto pups, but it's a fabulous opportunity for young people to come to the State Fair and show the animals. There you go. They've been working on all year and working with, for some kids, a lifetime. With us this evening is Christy and Jim Brown. They come from a long line of farmers, and they've been at the State Fair for many years. Christy, why don't you introduce your friend?
This is Speckles.
And how about you, Jim? Who's your friend?
This is Tammy.
She has a lot to say, too, I understand.
Yeah.
Now, how many years have you been coming to the State Fair, Christy?
About 5 or 6.
What about your family, though? Haven't they been here for many years?
Yeah, more than I can remember.
More than how many years you are? What, 16? You're 16? And right. Jim, you're 19?
Right.
So your family's been here for what?
I'd say over 20 years.
Over 20 years. Well, we had an opportunity earlier to visit the farm, the Brown farm. We brought back a little story about it, so let's take a look at that now.
It's early in the morning, just a few days before the Minnesota State Fair. And outside the Brown farm in Hastings, things look pretty quiet. But look again, inside the cow barn, there's plenty of activity going on. 19-year-old Jim and his sister, 16-year-old Christy, are busy getting their Holsteins in tip-top shape for this year's fair.
We're bringing up 12 cows for the milking parlor display and 2 heifers to show for FFA and another dry cow for the FFA barnyard.
Since these kids were just babies, they, along with their other 5 brothers and sisters, have been exhibiting cows at the State Fair. This year, Jim and Christy will be showing 2 Holsteins, which means that each one has to look just perfect.
Well, you have to make sure you got them all properly cooked up. That includes the head, tail, legs, udders, and the top line. Making sure your animal looks the best it can.
The 2 younger girls, Stacy and Heidi, will also be taking part in the fair this year. While Heidi helps out in the milking parlor, Stacy will be competing in the clothing and style review.
I made this outfit for Style Review, and I'm going up to the State Fair and getting judged, and then the day after that I'm going to be modeling it in front of an audience.
The head of this household is Harriet Brown. 4 years ago, Harriet's husband passed away, but that hasn't stopped Mom and the kids from carrying on the farm and continuing the state fair tradition.
The kids take care of the fair. I just really supervise. It's just a plain good experience, and they have lots of fun. And they learn a lot. And they learn from other farmers, and they learn from different agribusiness people that they meet. They really do look forward to it all year long.
And we look forward to it as well. Now, you've been through already one day of competition. You have another day coming up tomorrow. How have you done so far?
We got 7th and 8th. I got 7th, and he got 8th with his heifer.
What did the judges look for?
Oh, they want to look for the animal that looks the best in the class. They look for the conformation of the animal, straightness of lines, cleanliness, the clipping and fitting job, and just the overall general appearance of the animal.
I've been watching the two of you as we've been watching the tape, and you're petting the animals. Are you real attached to them? Have you been with these animals for a long time?
Well, it's pretty tough to sell one of your favorite animals. It's hard to see them go out of the barn, but if you get the right kind of money, you got to let them go.
What about you, Christy? You feel the same way?
I'm going to keep this one.
I could tell you like Speckles pretty well. Well, we appreciate both of you coming over here, and we appreciate Speckles and Tammy making it as well. And good luck to you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks again. We're going to go now back to Tom Hanneman, who is on the midway looking for some entertainment tonight. Tom?
I think I've found some, Pat. We're at the basketball game, and of course, in my many years in the NBA, this should be a snap. I'm going to do something a little bit differently. Normally, it's a free throw type of shoot. I'm going to dunk. I think they allow dunking. Do you allow dunking in this particular game? Or
you can do anything you need to do as long as you don't pass this. Just shoot from...
Well, all right. Well, hold the mic. I don't think I can dunk it from here, but it's been a few years since I... You ready?
Oh, almost.
You got to miss one once in a while, and as I say, you know, I'm not perfect. I guess you knew that. All right, here we go.
Oh, another close call.
Well, if I would have been able to dunk, Bill, I'm sure I'd have had them both and won a big prize to bring home. But unfortunately, 0 for 2 here, and embarrassingly, I'm going to move on. We'll be back in a few minutes, try something else.
Okay, Tom. Yeah, incidentally, you're going to have to give up your credentials as a sports announcer, right? Okay. Tom, his real game is hockey anyway, as you noticed by his shirt. How many of you have been up at the Midway already? Have you been there? Yeah? How many of you have had at least one little kind of special state fair food since you've been here today? Everybody? Well, Tony Vigneri, our health and science reporter, once again doing his job out in the field, telling you exactly what is happening to your body as you participate in this food. Tony?
Bill, I'm still walking my way, eating as much as I can. Now, when you say the state fair, it's one of the things you think of immediately when you say state fair. Pronto Pups.
Yes, sir. May I help you?
I'd like one with mustard, a lot of it, please.
Okay, sir.
Now, this is Jack Dries. You've been running this Pronto Pup stand for how long?
This is my first year in this location.
What do people say to you when they come up here and buy Pronto Pups? I mean, you can't beat them, right?
Right. They say that's what they come to the fair for, is to eat a Pronto Pup.
It's a part of the whole business of the state fair.
I believe it is.
Is there any special procedure that you have, any secret way of making them?
No, I don't think there's no secret to it. You see, all this stuff is really delivered to us. They're made by the batter is brought down to us, and that's about it. That's enough. Throw it out.
That's enough. They're good, and you don't have to worry about anything else. Now, as I mentioned, we're unfortunately counting calories too. A Pronto Pup is 280. That's not really that bad. We're going to move on a little further down here and eat to our heart's delight. Back to you, Bill.
Okay, Tony, we will be checking with you a little bit later on. You know, an annual event at the Minnesota State Fair is the talent contest. There are performances in the talent contest every night selecting semifinalists. One of the semifinalists this year is from South St. Paul. His name is Patrick Sheridan. He has a rather unusual kind of talent. He plays the tuba. His mother accompanies him while he plays the tuba. And there's something a little more special than that, but I think we're going to let you find out. Ladies and gentlemen, as they used to say, put your hands together for Mr. Patrick Sheridan.
Thank you very much. Tonight, for your listening pleasure, I would like to play for you a gypsy love song. This is the song the gypsy musicians played as they wandered from town to town to charm all of the women. Yes, all of them. Now, this piece was originally written for the violin. I forgot my violin, so tonight I'll play this for you on the most, I think, romantic instrument, the tuba.
That's Patrick Sheridan. Now, you're already a semi-finalist. Where do you go from here?
Sunday evening, I play at the band show at 8:30, and they pick one winner from the group of people that play that night. And if I'm picked for that, I play Labor Day evening at the band show.
And if you win that?
$1,500 first prize.
$1,500. Looking forward to that, huh?
Very much so.
What are you going to spend it on?
School.
Okay, a good choice. Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick Sheridan, we wish you break a leg on that contest. And we're going to be back live from the Minnesota State Fair in just a moment. Don't go away.
And to those of you here joining us for this live program at the Minnesota State Fair, boy, I don't know about you, but I am sure impressed with the young talent out here this year.
Oh, there's no end of it. I'm also impressed with any number of things out here. You know, every year I take a good exploratory look around as I come out to the fair, and every year you find some things that you haven't seen before, some unusual things. So we put together a package for you that we kind of like to call Bet You Didn't Know That You Could Do This at the Fair.
Do you want to know what's available at the fair in addition to hot dogs, and Pronto Pups?
I want to know. I want to know. Inquiring minds like us want to know. How much is a haircut?
It's a $5 donation to muscular dystrophy.
When you're in the grandstand building and the urge to change your look suddenly overwhelms you, stop by the barber's booth on the second floor. You can save some money, get a haircut, and help the Muscular Dystrophy Association all at the same time. In the education building, you can get free help with your career planning. A combination of counselors and computers is available to assist you through a career evaluation program. A must for anyone unsure about their future in the job market.
This is a basic
wood strip construction technique that really got started in Minnesota back in the 40s.
For those who enjoy working with their hands, special canoe building demonstrations can be found daily at the Natural Resources Building.
What we're going to show you today is what anybody can do with their dog.
For dog owners, the Bloomington Dog and Obedience Training Club offers special seminars 3 times a day in the Dog Exhibition Building. Back once more to the Education Building, where we'll find free hearing tests available to people of all ages. Audiologists are on hand to counsel those found to have hearing problems.
Anyone who'd like to try milking the cow can line up over here by Darren.
Milking a cow is a big hit at the children's barnyard, but don't think city kids are the only ones deprived of this activity. There are some farm kids void of the experience, too.
I have boy cows on my farm.
So the next time you're going around in circles wondering if that's all there is, remember, there's more to the fair than the Midway.
Okay. Well, we didn't know a lot of that, and now we do. But one thing we do know about the Minnesota State Fair is that every year there'll be 2 guys out here, 2 very popular, very handsome, 2 very marvelous, marvelous men. Charlie Boone and Roger Erickson, and we asked them to come over tonight and join us.
Here they are,
they're
Charlie
sneaking
and
around the corner.
And away we go.
Hey, how about that? They bring their own music along, everything.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Sit down and make yourself
That's one of my
comfortable here,
favorite
fellas.
music aggregations, the Barbary Coast Banjo Brass. They're fantastic.
Unbelievable.
Let's hear it.
How many years? You know, we were just talking about the real radio booth. We're just about, what, a third of a block away from here, right up the avenue. How many years you guys been there now, together?
60. This is my 28th fair.
60 years? No.
Your 28th fair.
Oh, wait, we both came here at the same time.
Yeah, 59.
28? Wait a minute now. You know, the show's been good up till now. What can we do? I mean, we can't walk wires. We can't juggle. No. We don't give milk.
You know, if you juggled the way that fellow was, you wouldn't have to shave in the morning, I think.
But it is a great fair.
Well, 28 years, I'm curious. Has there been anything that really stands out in all of those 28 years that happened maybe at the Minnesota State Fair? Or?
Well, you know, for a while we were going around and doing shows at different parts of the fair, different sections, and live shows. And Charlie was down in the Midway, right?
We haven't always had a nice broadcast center.
Yeah.
They sent me down to the Midway, and I broadcast from a tent right between the Wheel of Death with Speedy Wilson and his motorcycle, merry-go-round on one side, and I think in those days they used to have kind of a, they call it kind of a freak show. So I had all of this noise all afternoon and all the dust. It was great. It was marvelous.
He'd be on the air.
There goes Speedy Wilson and his Wheel of Death.
I know it wasn't anything like that last Saturday when at the Real Radio booth you had your All-Star Saturday, and we had a photographer over there kind of sitting around watching the performance. This is typical of what was taking place last Saturday at the All-Star Saturday.
Yes. You, Doctor Whitney.
Another interruption.
Dr. Whitney, I've got a problem.
Yes, you have a problem. What is your problem?
Doctor, I've had a tonsillectomy, an appendectomy, and a vasectomy.
Well, what are you complaining about?
I just stopped in to use the phone.
She said jokes haven't gotten any better.
They haven't changed either.
Use those same jokes over and
But you know why we call them the worst jokes? They're not our jokes. They're from listeners, just like the audience right here.
See, they'll blame it on you, folks. You going to take that?
I wouldn't take that if I were you out there.
You know, I saw the cows down there. I'm 13-1 in milking contests.
Really?
I only lost to Governor Quee.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. Governor Quee comes in. I figure he hasn't milked cows for a long time. He comes in, he's got fingers this big. And he gets on there, and I watch. He's at the other side of the cow. I'm here doing well. I beat all the FFA kids. Here you go.
But he has the biggest hands. For a Republican, too.
Yeah.
Right. That's very unusual. Well, that's the way it is. Gentlemen, thank you very much for dropping by. Do stay with us for a couple of minutes because we're going to go once again
To Tom
out to the
Hanneman.
Midway. Huh?
That's right. He's standing by now with some activity for us, Tom.
That's right. I don't know where the Wheel of Death is, but we'll look for that maybe a little bit later. But right now, if you come to the fair and you play the games, the traditional game you have to play is to fool the guesser. Now, we've been here for a few minutes, and this guy's having trouble. I tell you, he's been giving out a great deal of prizes, and it should be an easy mark for us. We're going to give it a try as soon as he's done with this fella. Let's walk in and see, I told you, he's giving away another prize. Howdy. How you doing?
Tom?
This wasn't set up. He just guessed my name.
Tom, all
yes,
right.
Yes. I want you to guess my wife's maiden name, or do you do that type of thing? No, I'm sorry. How about my age?
All right, I can guess your age. I want to let the audience hear, Tom, so I'll use my mic also.
All right,
I
fine.
don't guess anything but age, weight, or birthday month, but I'll guess your age, okay?
All righty.
On Tom looks real good. He spent a little too many hours out here at the fair, but you look about this age right here. Tom, within 2 years, that's how we do it. I guess it within 2 years. I think this is close.
Isn't this
I'll
fun?
let the camera see it. How old are you, Tom?
I'm 34.
34. Now, Tom wins a prize because I said 30. I guess you haven't been working hard enough, Tom. You win a prize.
Don't tell everybody. See, I told you we're going to get a prize, and
Anything you like.
anything I
For
like.
$1.
How about the diamond ring you're wearing? Can I take
No
that?
diamonds.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna look for something, and we'll send it back to you, Bill and Pat. We're gonna look for something else as well down the Midway in a few minutes.
Hey,
Thanks a lot.
did he guess your weight, too?
No, I figured I wouldn't. I have all this equipment on.
There went his microphone.
He cut him off before he could embarrass himself anymore.
You people are neat.
That's right. We don't fool around.
And we don't talk about weight.
Speaking of weight,
Yeah.
not at the fair. Speaking of weight, we do have another reporter, however, our health and science reporter, checking on the food at the Minnesota State Fair. Tony Vigneri continues in that endeavor tonight. Tony?
Well, I'm continuing my walk down Food Alley. I picked up a caramel apple for dessert, and I'm going to go over and get a cotton candy. You can't go wrong if I can get it here. Now, I don't know how I'm going to eat them both, but I'm certainly going to try. I'm here with about 3,000 people who are helping me eat. Now, as far as calorie, 180 on the apple. That's not bad. 215 on the snow cone. That's not a snow cone. That's the cotton candy. 215 for that. Not bad. I'll continue on. I'm going to strive to think. Go ahead, have all you want. I'm going to try one more stop. I'm going to get something that's going to last me all night. Back to you, Bill.
All right. Thank you, Tony. Stack of dimes, Vigneri.
I don't know. I think he's had too much when he can't tell the difference between a snow cone and candy
That's right.
floss. Don't you think so?
Sugar. The sugar's got to him.
That's like Roger. For breakfast every morning, just before we go on the air at 8, we have breakfast here at the fair. I have oatmeal. Roger has 3 caramel apples.
Okay. We want to thank you, gentlemen. We're going to take a quick break here. But as we do, let's thank Roger Erickson and Charlie Boone from Real Radio. We'll be right back live at the Minnesota State Fair. Welcome back to State Fair Live from the Minnesota State Fair. I'm Bill Carlson along with Pat Miles. We're bringing you this live performance tonight. You know, one of the very visible people at the Minnesota State Fair each year is the Dairy Princess, Princess K of the Milky Way. The person who wins that coveted title has to go through any number of county competitions and regional competitions before being awarded the title. So this year, to kind of give you an idea of how that all comes together, we have followed a contestant all the way through the competition. And we're going to show you right now what it takes to become Princess K.
Our story begins in June in the rural Minnesota town of Alexandria. It is here where we met up with 15 county princesses, all vying for the Region 3 Dairy Princess crown. Each candidate must have won their county competition, live on a dairy farm, and have a working knowledge of the dairy industry.
The first question is, how do you think that you could make friends for the dairy industry?
Well, to make a friend, you have to be a friend. So while you're out promoting the dairy products...
The American Dairy Association also believes that a dairy princess should have good communication skills. Therefore, the candidates are extensively interviewed by a panel of judges.
We'll need an ice cream truck driver.
Once the interviewing process is over, the girls have a chance to show their creativity. The candidates are divided into small groups where they have 30 minutes to come up with a clever dairy commercial.
Summer heat, cool off.
cool off. Drink milk, drink milk, drink milk, drink milk.
The day's activities are behind them now, and these nervous candidates readied themselves for the evening banquet.
We are very, very proud of you. We're proud of you because you represent the future of you and your generation represent the future of the dairy industry.
After hearing from the American Dairy Association and the reigning Princess K of the Milky Way, the moment of truth arrives.
Yes, I'm very excited about being Dairy Princess. It's something special. It's something unique. It's a way of me promoting my lifestyle to everyone around who is there to see me.
Our story continues in August at the County Fair in Alexandria. It's here where we meet up again with Yvonne Morkey, the newly crowned Region 3 Dairy Princess. Yvonne's main responsibility as a Region Princess is to promote dairy products wherever and whenever she can.
So people can say that's a Dairy Princess, and right away they think of dairy and they think of milk and the dairy products, and maybe it'll spur them on to accepting it more and using them more.
Yvonne, who is presently pursuing a broadcast education at Brown Institute in Minneapolis, is and always will be a dairy farmer's daughter.
You see fancy machinery on TV, but in real life it's not so fancy. It's a lot of work. It's not a career where you can just take off for a couple weeks and just ignore it. It's there every day and you're living with it.
The final chapter in our story takes place at the State Fairgrounds in Minneapolis, and again we meet up with Yvonne. This is where 11 regional princesses, all of whom have been through the same process, gather to compete for the coveted title of Princess K of the Milky Way. Once the candidates have been introduced, each one is asked a special question. Then the judges select 3 semi-finalists. From here, each girl awaits the crowning moment, a moment when someone's dream will come true.
And ladies and gentlemen, here she is live on our stage, Princess K of the Milky Way, Yvonne Morkey. You know, it's interesting. We had no idea. Obviously, we just selected a place and a couple of candidates, and here we wound up with the winner right from the very beginning. Since you've been at the State Fair, this is kind of where your year begins. What kind of activities have there been at the fair?
Well, to start off, first of all, we had the butter carvings, and they carved my head in a 68-pound block of butter, and they did a pretty good job.
A 68-pound block.
That's right, and then we get to keep it afterwards, and I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with it.
There it is. There she is, being carved in butter, ladies and gentlemen. That's an honor that all the candidates get every year, isn't it?
That's right.
You're going into the broadcast business, you say?
Right, radio and TV broadcasting.
You're going to be competing with Pat and me?
Well, I'll sure give it my best shot.
Well, we wish you all sorts of good fortune. And we do know that you are starting on a very exciting year, and we hope that it's very exciting and very fulfilling to you at the same time. Yvonne, thank you very much for being with us tonight.
And thank you.
Don't you think we should thank her? Yvonne Morkey, our Princess K of the Milky Way. And now Pat Miles with us once again. Pat?
You're not going to believe this, Bill, but I am here to do a fish story. And guess who I'm with? None other than Ralph John Fritz and Joe Alexander from the Department of Natural Resources. And I understand we have a fish fillet contest. Joe, explain it to us.
We have done this a couple of times. I declare myself the world's fastest. I don't challenge anyone I can't beat, and here's one of them.
Well, you've done it so many years in a row, I guess not. Joe, he actually has his own traveling bag that he carries now. Do you have that with you, Joe? There it is. Just
there it is. I have this.
Sure, look at that. What a braggart. Joe Alexander, the DNR commissioner, world's fastest. Doesn't say well, fastest what, but.
Well, now, are they, on whether you lose, are these gloves for the fish, or is this to look like Michael Jackson?
To hold the fish so that it doesn't slip when you're messing around with sharp knives, and it lets you hold on to the fish. Highly recommended for people who are dressing or boning a lot of fish or doing any kind of cutting with sharp knives.
So in other words, Ralph does not have to wear that on the news every night. Okay. Well, now let's get on with the contest.
All it is going to be a speed thing with crappies here, and then Joe's going to explain to the people how to really fillet a walleye. How's that? Now, he
all
wins all the time.
So. Okay, let's get going.
Are you ready, Joe?
Little music. seem to be losing, Ralph.
I have a dull knife they gave me.
All right, I win.
Yep, but he did the whole fish. You just did the one side. We have a little accident here. All right, we're going to have to declare here. I think maybe
I'm injured.
I think maybe Joe's won. What do you guys think? Yeah. And as it turns out, I think Ralph got some ketchup on his hand.
What?
No, I think that's ketchup. It smells like ketchup. Can you tell us a little bit, Joe, before we go here, about the DNR building and what's going on over there?
Well, we have a lot more over there besides fish and game. 75th anniversary of our forestry division. This week we're having a big birthday party on Friday. And those of you who are interested in such things, and most everyone is, we have the world's largest snapping turtle over in the building and a Wisconsin record flathead catfish over in the pond over there. So those are the two big attractions that people are asking about. But there's a lot more over there. There's forestry displays, mineral displays, and what our department is about. So I encourage people to go on over. And if I'm over there and you want to ask me something, shoot, there's no holds barred.
Yeah, and will you tell them about fish filleting too? I mean, can you explain that?
And one of the rules that we have is that the fish that are transported, game fish, have to have a small piece of skin left on them. And I thought other than just the speed that we're doing here, I'd show them at least on one side of a walleye of how that can be done and make the fish legal to transport.
Well, we're not going to be able to do it on the air because we're out of time, but you go ahead and start and the crowd here can watch. But we're going to have to go out to Tom Hanneman, who's standing by right now with some entertainment for us. Tom?
Well, Pat, as you may know, one of the most oft-maligned creatures at the State Fair is the lowly frog. And believe me, this creature takes a real beating, especially at one of the new games here on the Midway, the frog leap. And we're going to give it a try. Justine, what exactly is the trick to this now before I try it?
The object of the game is to take the whacker and whack the frog into the can.
You have many frog injuries during the day with this? None at all?
No.
These, of course, are not real frogs. I guess you'd figured that out already. But let's give it a try. And, boy, I hope these are not real frogs because it would be horrible. All right, you ready? Here we go. Oh, I'll tell you.
Hey, you got one.
I got one. I'm going for another watermelon slice here, folks. Here we go. It's in. I win. It has not been a total loss. I got a stuffed watermelon slice. It's been a lot of fun here at the fair. We'll send it back to Bill and Pat.
Okay, Tom. Well, you're not doing too bad. You've won two. You've won the age. You won the frog jumping, the frog bash, whatever it is. But you missed on basketball. That's the one you should have won. Well, also out on the fairgrounds, of course, is Tony Vigneri, continuing to check out the food. Tony, how's it going?
You caught me, Bill, eating a foot long. It's my last thing to eat it at the fair. I think it's my last thing. You can't go wrong with a foot long, as they say.
Some onions?
In the calorie count of what we've been doing so far, we're not doing too good, but we're having a good time down here, and that's the important thing. This foot long is only 350 calories, but there's a lot there. Now, I've been able to tabulate what I've taken in so far. If you recall, I had a mini donut at the beginning of the show, a dozen of them. 300, that was 720 calories. A foot long, 350. Cotton candy, 180. Caramel apple was 215. That brings my total of 1,745 calories in less than an hour. That's not bad. I feel great. I love it. I'm going to do some more of it as soon as I get off here. Back to you, Bill and Pat. They're throwing food at me now.
Going to do that.
What were they throwing? Candied apples at him there at the end?
I don't know, but he's going to do more, and we're going to do more too. We'll be back live from the Minnesota State Fair in just a moment. Don't go away.
You know, we give away bags at the State Fair, and that's at one side of the State Fair booth, and in the middle is where you sign autographs, and we were there the first year, and nobody knew us. So people filing by the autograph booth, and I said, "Would you like an autograph?" And the woman said, "Do you have to have one to get a bag?" And I said, "Yes, you do have to have one to get a bag."
But we solved the problem by, we forgot about signing the autographs and we went and gave out the bags.
him that way, Pat? I don't.
Yeah, right. They only knew, right?
Well, you know, a little bit earlier in our program, we looked at some of the unusual things you don't expect to find out here at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds. Now we're going to look at some of the brand new things to the fair just this year.
So what's new at the State Fair this year? Well, over in the Coliseum, you can take a ride on a wild rodeo bull. Or at least look like you're riding one. For $10, Roger Bubel, the cowboy photographer, will take a picture of you riding old 101, the toughest bull that ever came out of the Texas Cowbell Rodeo.
All right. Here's those good-looking bull riders.
After getting your souvenir photograph, head on over to the cattle barn to visit Miss Poppy. She's a 1,000-pound, 6-year-old Texas Longhorn cow. If cows don't hold your interest, how about sheep? Check out the swine barn where you'll find the Romanov sheep, a rare breed of black sheep from the Soviet Union. The Romanov breeder's motto is more lambs, more often, since this breed of sheep matures so quickly and reproduces lambs year-round.
They're very quiet. When we first got them, they were, of course, having made the trip from Quebec, they were quite upset, but they settled down and they're very friendly. You just go out and call and they all come whipping back up, and I think our ram over there is turning into a real hen.
And there are a couple of new rides on the Midway that shouldn't be missed. One is the new Typhoon ride that dips and spins and tilts and jerks you through a whirlwind of a ride. The other zips you through dark space in a spinning saucer. It's Back to the Future without the help of Michael J. Fox. This time, you're on your own. And for all of you who have had your fill of corn dogs, mini donuts, and cheese curds, give your stomach a break at the Tofu Food Booth, sponsored by the Minnesota Soybean Association, where all you yuppies can get your fill of Tofulicious ice cream.
You know, everybody has their favorite food out here, but I have to say, I am wild for that corn in the husk.
I noticed that. Corn on the cob every night after the newscast.
That's when I have the corn in my teeth during the news. Now you know why.
You know, I grew up, I guess I've told the folks this several times, right across the street from the Minnesota State Fair. So it's been part of my life for as long as I can remember. And it's a wonderful place to visit, folks. If you have visited state fairs in other parts of the country, they don't hold a candle to our Minnesota State Fair. And I think we should give a round of applause to those folks who make it all happen up there at the administration building, don't you?
And a little advice, if you're coming out here tonight, you might want to bring a jacket. It has gotten a wee bit chilly.
You know, we're going to go out the way we came in tonight, and that's with musical excitement.
And thanks so much to the Barbary Coast Banjo Brass. They have just been fantastic, and friends of ours for a long time. Thank you, guys.
So let's have a taste of what they can do, shall we? Here they are, the Barbary Coast Banjo Brass.